Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Swish. Larry here, along with Stephen Dykman. Today we actually don't have a special guest, it's just going to be us running by ourselves. We have a special guest next week, which we'll be getting into a little bit more at the end of the episode when we do our preview for it.
Yep.
But today, we're going to be talking some legacy and historic formats.
Yep. And the really cool thing about talking about historic is I think the last time we did an episode without a special guest was the Jumstart preview episode.
It was.
And today, fitting enough, we've gotten to play some Jumstart already, which has been really, really fun.
Having a blast. And we're going to be getting into that. We're going to be getting into some other historic stuff. But last week, we did a prediction for the ban list.
Yep.
Boy, were we wrong on some of the elements.
We were, but I think some of them...
We were also right. And
we
then
were 100% right in historic.
Yep, we both were on the Burning Tree Nexus.
Yep,
we did say there was all arguments for that.
Yep,
modern
right.
I was actually shocked they didn't hit Euro. I was really expecting it. But I think
Labe, which was
Astrolabe was such a huge hit.
Yeah.
The Shocker, though. Let's talk about the Shockers.
Yeah, Pioneer.
Pioneer. This is the second time they've announced the Pioneer announcement, and they've shocked the Magic community by not doing anything that they would have expected. Now, before we get too much into that, the card that they didn't ban anything, but they unbanned Oath and Nissa, and their reasoning was at the time that ramp decks were too strong, and they felt like they needed to tune it down. And now it reintroduces and can give them ramp another strategy. The only issue I have with that, it opens up to a combo heavy format where it feels like it is, with another very good combo deck in Kethis.
Yeah, not only that, it makes Heliod combo decks now just consider playing white, or green rather.
Yes.
Because now their combo's just that much more consistent, and white, can do plenty of things to flicker permanents too. So
can they?
They can certainly blink Oath. There might even be like a Yorion green-white deck now or something in Pioneer. Who knows?
That's quite possible.
Owl hits Oath, which is super messed up.
That's true.
And Oath hits Owl, so they both feed each other, so that's pretty cool.
So Oath is creature, planeswalker, is that, or land?
It's planeswalker, creature, or land. It's all three. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oath is incredible. Oath is a really good card.
It's been a while since I've played with the card.
They initially banned it because of how incredible it was with the Felidar Guardian combo. But as I think they banned them both at the same time, if I remember correctly.
They did.
So Oath was kind of paying for the sins of
Oath
Felidar
was
Guardian.
Wasn't Oath in the Green Devotion decks?
It was. It was good there. And I think Oath, Leyline, and Felidar Guardian all got banned at the same time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Leyline might have gotten banned a few weeks before.
Maybe.
We could maybe try looking that up here. I forget. But the point here is that Oath really paid for the sins of Felidar Guardian combo. So that was part of the reason they banned it. But it's also just an incredible value engine. Like with 3 mana Teferi, it's ridiculous. Like playing 3 mana Teferi, picking it up and playing it again is amazing.
Yep, not to cut you off.
Yep.
Actually, on November 4th of last year, it was on Felidar Guardian, Leyline of Abundance, and Oath and Nissa. So you were correct.
And that's what I thought.
But that was when they were doing the weekly bans.
Correct. And that is why, I think that's why myself, and I assume a lot of the other Magic community, is so surprised at the way they're banning things right now in Pioneer, because it almost seems like they've completely flipped whatever their mindset was at the beginning. They were just like fast banning everything that seemed busted or broken, and it's incredibly obvious that Thoughtseize is probably the best card in Pioneer. I think most people would say that.
Well,
a lot of people have said it since the beginning.
Yep.
Thoughtseize is like the most powerful card. Now we have a combo deck with Thoughtseize that has been seemingly the best deck in Pioneer for, I don't know, before quarantine happened. So 5, 6, 7, 8 months, long time. It's been the best, really, since we went to New York. That's when the deck started picking up.
Before the PT for sure, because it was a big deck of the PT weekend. And
so we've had that deck just at the top ever since then. We've had the white Heliod combo deck.
Mm-hmm.
That's been at the top since around that same time, maybe a few weeks after that. A few weeks after Inverter took off, that deck really started picking up. People started figuring out how to build it well. And we have the Lotus Breach deck, which is another combo deck, which also did incredible at that PT. Specifically at the PT, did really well. It's a deck you can definitely hate out, which is why it hasn't seen the level of dominance. But part of the reason of that is it can struggle with the inverter deck, which we found out when we were testing Lotus Breach before that NRG event, which ultimately led to me playing inverter and then top 4 or top 8ing. But anyway, they've seemed to just, at the beginning they were just really aggressively banning everything, and now they just seem to not care. Yeah, which is really bizarre. I
did see some like pros like Canister and stuff was making a good point. The percentage wise actually backs up what they're doing, because they're basically doing everything based on a percentage metric. And percentage wise, inverter's not really ahead of anything.
Really.
So with that being said, that might be the reasoning, and I can actually understand and respect that reasoning.
So out of curiosity, can we pull up Goldfish real quick and see what
Goldfish is. Don't use Goldfish. Like, that is a very big mistake people make.
I see.
Goldfish is not a good metric.
What metric should we use then?
They use it based off actual like tournaments, but Goldfish is very loose.
But
because Goldfish is also taking all these random events like people are doing on MTG Melee and stuff, and they're using those. Like when I was looking up Legacy, for example, they have one where it was like a no ban list one, and they were still posting, like clumping the decks with those.
I see.
That was an issue.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can't do that.
So is there some sort of metric we can pull
So
up?
let me see if I can find the Twitter
Because
feed.
what I'm interested in is not what one of those decks makes up, but what all 3 Heliod combo, Inverter, and Lotus Breach make up. Because I'd be very curious to see what percentage of the metagame just those 3 decks are. Because it doesn't really matter if one of them dominates over the other one, but if all 3 of those decks have an incredible percentage in the metagame and it hasn't changed in 7 or 8 months, I consider that like a huge problem and a very not fun or interesting format, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I'm currently looking to see if I can find Canister's tweet.
Anyway, that was like one of the reasons I was so surprised. Is it's just like they, at the beginning, they just had a completely different mindset to their ban approach, because anything that even seemed busted got axed in like 2 weeks. They were just really hammering down, and now it just seems like they're almost not even like paying that much attention, which is a real interesting thing to say the least.
Yeah, they don't have an exercise, but like another Martin Zuzla is another one that said it had a 49% win rate. So being said, see my perspective on it, because I don't want to really like spend too much time looking up stuff that's not super related, like just like to briefly cover Pioneer. But if it's a 49% rate, that's still not that bad. Like, because there's so many. That's actually because you look at the decks in Modern, look at things like that. With Pioneer in general, I do think that the door can be open with the Oath banning the more I think about it, because another deck that I think actually could benefit from that is a deck called Niv.
Yeah.
Because all those walkers now can be played off of any color mana.
Yeah, that's hot.
That is very crucial. And then being able to find your land drops to be better color coordinated and be more efficient, I like that a lot.
That seems nice. That might be a Gilded Goose replacement.
Because it's also, you can bounce those with Tefiris and replay
them. That's
what
I was telling you. That value is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan. I really want to try like some Niv lists with those. I'm not going to completely give up when it comes to Pioneer. Would I like something banned? Sure. Because I think it's a headache to play against Inverter and stuff.
Also, it's just, like I was saying, I think it's old. Like, it's super stale. Like, it's been the same. I haven't played it in a few months, but the NRG event the Lotus Box event that I played in, we played against Breach, Inverter, and Blue-White Control. And I think those are the only decks we played against. Yep. And all of those decks are still there, still solid. Like, there just aren't many decks in Pioneer. Like, anything gets pushed out, and just like these 3 super oppressive decks.
And maybe that is a blame on us as players too.
It could be.
Because that could be that we're not putting the time and actual dedication into trying to find something that's a good answer to these top decks that can actually be well fitted for the rest of the format, that everybody is just like sitting on default right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that could be like the big case, because I know that happens a lot in Magic.
And maybe the green decks will be able to have a better game now that they have Oath. We'll see. Yep. Green Devotion obviously gets way better with Oath. Nykthos, way better. You get to hit Nykthos, and you have more Devotion all the time.
Yep. And I'm curious, we might have to start entering on Pioneer. I really want to test out Niv. I think Niv is actually in a good spot.
I believe that.
I personally think Niv was in a good spot already. I think it's fine. I think its worst matchup, hands down, is Lotus. But you can beat Lotus because you're playing mainboard slaughter games and things like that, and you're also good against the combo decks. And that card was never necessarily bad because you had so many ways to be able to like deal with it. Because you had Nahiri that pinned it. Like, I really would like to venture that into that again. Hey, we played with a buddy of yours that's maybe not the most solid player in the world with Niv, and we still went 4-1 in leagues.
Yeah.
And we could have been 5-0 if not for some misclicking issues. But you know, that's on Magic the Gathering online.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I've misclicked.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What was it that we were playing online and I went through like a step or something?
Oh, in our legacy video.
Yeah, our legacy video.
Yeah, we didn't force an NO that put a proc into play and we died in 2 turns.
Misclicking because moving too quick sometimes.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, like Pioneer, should something been bad? I don't know what gives me really the grounds to say if it should or shouldn't.
I mean,
did I want something bad? Of course.
Yeah. You and I, we haven't really touched Pioneer in like a month or more.
The last time we played Pioneer, we played our very bad Soul type flash deck. So.
Oh right, yeah.
So we're giving ourselves a bunch of fight.
And we knew, that was not great.
Also, the other announcement. Let's not ignore. Let's go through all the announcements.
Sure.
In Pauper, Expedition Map and Mystic Sanctuary were both banned.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense. The Tron deck was very strong.
Yep.
Mystic Sanctuary, I haven't played with it myself, but I heard it is very good.
Yep, that's what Chase was saying last week. Right?
So I expect, I can appreciate those bans, keeping that format healthy. Astrolabe is awesome because it unbans basic lands.
Yeah, I know.
That's the joke running.
Yep.
Zach Allen actually posted on Twitter earlier this week showing his foiled out like unstable or one of the unset ones.
Classic Zach Allen showing the foils.
And he was like, "These are unbanned finally," which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Astrolabe being banned means Dredge is better again. We'll be getting more into that later. But no, I think Astrolabe is going to be a great ban. I didn't think anything needed to be unbanned. Like I said, I was predicting maybe Euro goes, but I'm not upset that Euro don't go because I honestly don't think the card's that bad.
Yeah.
I'm very big that if you want to answer Euro, you can answer Euro.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Astrolabe was just a mistake. At its core, it's just a really dumb card. It's good they got rid of it there, and I could see it leaving other formats at some point. Too.
I agree.
It's just a really, really dumb Magic card.
And to keep people updated, with the historic bans, Age of Treachery, Window, and Fires are officially banned. They were removed from suspended.
See you later.
Burning Tree is suspended as of right now, so that does mean that currently that you can't be using any Burning Trees, and then they'll readdress that their next month. It will stay in there. However, they just banned Nexus Bait. They did not suspend it.
That's good.
The reasoning that from what they were saying in regards to that is the reason that they ban Nexus Bait because they don't think that that's a card that should be in the format essentially.
It's not.
And they just want to get right to it.
That's a nice ban.
Now, if those were wild cards, you will not get additional wild cards for Age of Treacheries or Fires of Invention. However, I did get 4 wild cards for Winotus.
That's nice.
Since it's still, I guess they won't give you double because they're like, all right, you crafted it, but you already gave you 4. We're not going to give you 8 wild cards for your 1 card.
Yeah, makes
which
sense.
I can respect.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just worried, like, am I going to get my Nexus like ones? Am I going to get? And they also gave me 4 Burning Tree wild cards.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't really too concerned about the wild cards, but
definitely.
It's cool. I think they're doing an excellent job with Historic. I think it's the best format that they're handling right now.
Yeah, I actually agree. I enjoy playing Historic the most right now, and some of that is just the way I am as a player. My preferences. I enjoy more open formats, and that one is still somewhat open.
Oh, you like open formats? Well, we have a thing called the Arena Open. You are very pros at this event. For those at home, you might want to wake up and play day 2 if you make them
it starts at 1 o'clock. Which,
so I would recommend.
We both slept past that day. So.
If you were on that podcast, Raymond Perez Jr. was with us. How we were a little frustrated.
Yeah, annoyed for sure. We all qualified, but only one of us played. Played day 2.
It was quite funny. But regardless, they're actually going to be doing another Arena Open on August 1st.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited.
And it's going to be the historic format. For those that don't know what the Arena Open is, because they didn't take part of it in the last one, the first day, so you can enter as many times as you want. I don't remember how many gems. It's like 2,000 gems or something like that. You enter, excuse me, the Arena Open. You play, and it's like You play until you get 2 losses, I believe.
Yep.
And if you get 7 wins, you get a special token.
Yep.
That lets you play in day 2 if you wake up.
Yep.
You also get additional wins like gems and stuff like that. There's actually a lot to win off of these. You can keep playing more on day 1, but you can only get 1 qualification for day 2. Then on day 2 you play, and I think it's you go until you get 2 losses again. However, if you finish with 7 wins, you'll get $2,000 cash.
Yep.
If you get 6 wins, you get $1,000 cash. And then there's gems and stuff underneath that as well.
It's good. Once you day 2, you've almost already made money.
Because you make at least all those gems back instantly. Especially if you do it one time, you definitely win value.
Great value.
And day 1 is on best of 1 format. Day 2 is best of 3.
Yep.
Traditional. So it's going to be cool. As of right now, with the historic Open, I'm thinking mono red aggressive decks.
Oh yeah, Hellrider day 1 is very likely where I'm gonna be.
Like those
we'll see though.
Kind of decks that I'm leaning towards. Mono blue could be consideration too.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, the Curious Obsession.
Yeah, mono blue has 8 Curious Obsession, so I could definitely see that being a viable selection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
both of those are gonna be very good on picks, I think. But like I said, we're just like speculating.
Field of the Dead is probably the best mid-range deck now. That Nexus is gone, but that'll remain to be seen. But I assume Field's about to get a huge uptick in play in Historic. But I at least think that deck is a lot more combatable than
we have
Nexus
Virulent Plague. You know, if we want to answer, if we're playing black, we have a great card for it. I know my current plans for Historic moving forward in the near future, from when we start doing actual constructed videos, I want to mess with like a Hardened Scale style deck because I got some really good cards for that.
Oh yeah.
I would also like to mess with some of the red decks, like especially Goblins seems really good.
Goblins is very good.
Goblins is going to be very good.
Fun to look at.
Another deck like just traditional Hellrider mono red would be very good. We could revisit Gruul. Gruul might have.
I'm sure Gruul is still fine. Gruul, especially bigger Gruul.
Big Gruul.
Because big Gruul is going to be a really good way to attack everyone who decides to play mono red.
Yes.
You just main deck like 3 Garderoths, like what Robert Meadows has been doing.
Yes.
Indeed, I believe Dylan Hand also played in the Invitational.
He incorporated his list, and he did quite well with it as well. He was like right there with you because you guys played, didn't you?
We played in Standard.
You played in Standard.
Thank God. Because I was messaging you saying, man, I do not want to play against him at all. Because I knew that was going to be a tough matchup. The way the deck was built was really bad for me.
Yep, no, most definitely. Yeah, no, that's all. Like, Gruul's going to be fine. I'd like to mess with a Basha Gruul again because we were having a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. We'll definitely do that again.
But yeah, we'll definitely see. Like, right now for Historic, I think... like, this episode's not highly on Historic, like, by any means. But
it's a good mix of Legacy.
But let's talk, I do want to talk about the event that's going on right now on Arena that me and you were doing a little bit before the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Jumstart event. There's a lot of complaints on Twitter right now that Jumstart cards aren't available in packs. At first I was on board with that, but after seeing how this event is being played out, I'm enjoying myself a lot.
So here's the thing. It's a lot of fun, and when you really look at it from like a value perspective, and I think there are 400 gems and 2,000 gold to enter these events. You pick 2 of these 20-card decks. Every 20-card deck has 1 rare, some rare that exists in Jumstart. I think they probably have a deck that contains almost every rare, but I'm not sure. But you can get a huge amount of cards from Jumstart in these decks, just to begin with. And then you can play as many times with these decks as you need to. These 2 20-card decks merge together to form one 40-card deck, which is the deck you play. But anyway, so you get 1 rare out of each of those, and then once you get 2 wins, however long that takes, you get 2 more rares, which is kind of the equivalent of 4 packs. Obviously, it's not quite the same, but you get a good amount of commons because you're getting, probably 8 commons or so out of each deck, probably like 2 to 4 uncommons, and then the rares that you open as well. It's obviously not the same as opening packs. You don't, get the vault progress. You don't get the progress towards the wild cards and stuff. But really, the most important thing out of a pack, in my opinion, is the rare or the mythic all the time. Like, that's really all you're ever caring about when you open a pack. So you get 4 rares every one of these events you enter if you go to 2 wins. So, you know, at that rate, 2,000 gold or 400 gems for 4 rares, that's really not that bad. Like, I get that it's kind of annoying you can't buy packs, but just jam this event a lot. And it's a fun event.
Too. Yeah, like, no, we've been having a good time.
Limited's enjoyable, man. Like, and, you know, I love playing Limited. I know that's somewhat biased. You love playing Limited.
Yep.
Some people don't. I get that. But, you know, that's how you usually make value on Arena anyway, is being good at Limited. So you just got to kind of deal with it and enjoy what opportunity they've given you. But you can certainly, you know, get a lot of cards by entering this event a good number of times.
I agree. I mean, yeah, I definitely recommend it. It helps you generate some cards. It lets you see what cards, because some Jumpstart cards you haven't got to play with, so that's always a good time.
Yeah.
And I like that the chances of playing the same exact thing, because it doesn't actually give you all those decks.
Yeah.
Like, they randomly give you 3 to pick from for your first tier and then the second tier, which it's so cool.
For those of you listening who have played Hearthstone before, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the arena, the way arena works on Hearth. So on Hearth, you get to pick one of 3 of the like 11 leaders, or whatever you call the person, the character that's in charge of your deck or whatever. And there are like 11 of them. You get to pick between like 3, and then you basically do like a draft and pick 1 out of 3 cards every time, but it's totally random, but it's stuff that would like be in that character's deck. So it's somewhat like that. So it's just, you're not going to play the same thing like ever. And even if you do play the exact same 2 decks, a lot of the decks, for example, I think Angels has like 4 different builds possible. Yep. So even if you were double Angels, you could still be like Angels 2, Angels 4 versus Angels 2, Angels 3, which would still be a slightly different build.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, you know, it's not going to get boring. It's, you know, it's interesting. I will say, from our playing so far, Black seems incredible. I feel like if you have the option to play Black, you probably should, because our Black deck was insane. We 2-0'd super easily. The real reason the Black deck felt so good is your uncommons and your commons are just so good. Ravenous Chupacabra and Entomber Exarch both being uncommons and both being in the same deck and also having incredible synergy together. The fact you can choop something and then Exarch the choop back to your hand and choop something again is insane. The Black deck also usually has the Rise from the Grave card, so you can buy back Chupacabra that way, or, you know, just a lot of really nice value plays. Gravewaker's a really sweet limited bomb, a 5/5 flyer for 6 that can reanimate anything out of anyone's graveyard for 7 mana at instant speed. Yep. Very, very solid. So I've been really, really impressed with the Black decks so far.
I agree. The Black decks have been pretty good.
But honestly, most, other than double Lightning, which felt horrible, so that would be an archetype we would say probably avoid if you can, or we just got really unlucky with because I think Lightning had 4 different ones as well. But Lightning just has a lot of really like awkward cards that aren't super good. Bodies don't line up super well. For example, Lightning Elemental, a 4-mana 4/1 haste, is really not very impressive anymore. No. It never was impressive to begin with, but
it's always very medium.
It's certainly not impressive in this day and age when a lot of cards make 1/1 tokens randomly. You know, Shock exists in the format. We had that happen once when your 4 drops trading for a 1-mana instant. Very, very bad.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that. Wasn't super impressed with that archetype, but other than that deck, I've really enjoyed all the decks we've played.
Yep. So, mentioning of historic, if anybody's looking for a good historic deck to play right now, there's a guy that just went 7-0 with a historic Citadel deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the Citadel?
Yep.
Is it mono black?
Nope. It was black red.
Okay. Is it a Cauldron Familiar?
Yep.
Oven?
Cauldron Familiar Oven. And the guy that was playing this, his name is Croaky.
Bro, he just wins in everything. It's so funny.
He does.
Yeah, we'll have to try his deck.
He's like, I played 50 lands, 10 non-lands, and I went 7-0 today.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys'
dude's
decks are
amazing.
super good, man.
Yeah.
And he's obviously very good too. But
Yeah, no, for
that's
sure.
really cool.
Yeah, no, but Historic is going to be interesting, and we'll be making some videos coming forward so
Yep,
we can
absolutely.
actually get some action in there. We'll probably record some of the Jumpstart events too and post those today.
Yeah, we should.
That'd be a good time.
Yep.
But we're going to transition a little bit. We're going to talk about a different format, a
Yep.
format that hasn't been touched too much by us lately, but it's nice to get back into. The start, there's a tournament or organizer. It's kind of like how Star City was when they first started,
Yep.
called Nerd Rage Gaming.
Yep.
They're out of the Chicago area. I don't know if you've been to their shop. Yeah, you've been to their shop because you just did like a PTQ or something there, like before
Yep,
quarantine.
James and I went there.
Yep.
James and I can't remember if it was just James. I think someone else went.
I
with
thought
us.
it was just you and James, but maybe I'm wrong.
It might have just.
I
been
know
James
you
and I.
topped 8,
Yeah.
and you were close. Playing like the food deck.
Yep, and then I lost to Hoey.
Okay, yep,
Who
Hoy.
was an excellent player, so I'm fine.
Oh, I
with
know
losing
Hoy
to
is.
him.
Yep.
And it was kind of a rough matchup too. It was
Okay.
Flash versus Ramp,
Mm.
and I didn't have a great sideboard for the matchup yet.
Yeah.
Which later I figured out that one of the good sideboard plans was to just become Flash.
I remember that. I remember.
Yeah, I told James to do that at like the side.
I remember that. Yeah.
And he did. He got some people with it for sure in one of the classics at an SCG. But yeah, no. The point here is
Nerd Rage,
NRG
Norman, the owner, very nice guy. They were
He's a super
actually
cool guy.
they were planning on being here in Michigan for the first time for an NRG event,
Yeah.
and then COVID
All this happened.
happened.
Hopefully next year they can reschedule.
Hopefully, I'm big support. Actually, me and Ray, for example, we went there. Another buddy and me did the same thing. We went there for an open that they were doing at the Great Wolf Lodge.
Ah, yeah,
And,
those are fun. I love doing
I think
those.
they were both at the Great Wolf. No, the one with Ray was at a different location.
Okay.
Ours was at the one for regionals when we were on the turf where it was actual like grass
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
on the
yeah,
soccer
yeah.
field.
Yeah, SCG's done
But
one there. too.
regardless, so we were doing an event and we always go there for F&M the night before on that Friday, and
Oh,
we
that's
would go
fun.
do F&M, hang out, support the local store. I sometimes don't have credit there, like just chilling.
Nice.
It's a nice little store too. Like
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Great store.
And just what Norman does, Max the judge that runs everything for him.
Yeah, they're cool dudes.
He's
they're
really,
nice
really good.
dudes.
Like I've topped 8 there last, like the one that we were at. Not the last one I was at, but the one very beginning of the season. I topped 8 the modern one
Yep.
with Dredge, and then I like that they do when they're doing the paper ones, they do the back-to-back 5Ks,
Yeah.
which you have like that one was modern and then legacy, for example. Just to have because us as Magic players, we want to make our weekends worth our while.
Yep.
And doing stuff like that is how you make our weekends worth it.
Yep.
Like we all went to the one in Indy, right? Yeah, we went to
Yeah.
the one in Indy, and we had 2 on 5Ks back. It was like Pioneer Modern.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was an awesome time because
Yep.
you have full things, you have something to do, and it's nice not having to like stress about being there early on Thursday or something. It's cool. We just have 2 separate events that also you don't have to worry about how your performance day in the first one went comparable to your second one because they're 2 different tournaments.
Yep.
Which that's cool as well. It's kind of like they did an open in the same day how SCGs used to do their stuff. They actually just made an announcement that because with the pandemic going on, that a lot, as many others have, they're doing all their stuff online.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just announced like a week or so ago that they're going to be doing one this Sunday for Patreons only. So you pay like $10 a month to be their Patreon, and you get free entry to a tournament.
Yep.
Cheapest tournaments you're going to do, people.
Yep.
Tournaments are usually $40+.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So
price
and they're-
payout is pretty low, but it doesn't really matter. Like it's so
saying
low
about-
to enter that who
Listen,
cares?
we're
you know?
getting to sit at home, play
Exactly.
some Magic. I don't personally care about the purses right now.
Exactly.
People care about the cash purses,
Yeah.
about Magic a little bit too much, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. Definitely right.
Take a break, guys.
Yep.
Calm down. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna play some Legacy this Sunday with Nerd Rage, a great people that love to run these events.
Yep.
I can't wait to go ahead and do their event this weekend.
Yeah, no,
and
gonna
it's
be
cool
fun.
that it's Legacy because I don't get to play a lot of Legacy, and I love the opportunity.
Yeah, no, and we've been testing a little bit of Legacy this week. We've done 3 or 4 videos already. We've played roughly 18 or so matches, and yeah, no, the format is great, man. It's really
been very
fun.
open too.
You get to make a lot of decisions. It does seem pretty open. We've played against a lot of decks. There are a lot of things happening.
Most typically, we have one deck that we've played more than others, and we'll be getting into that soon.
Yep.
What's your perspective on the format right now? If you just had to like, on the fly, give your perspective based on the small sample size you've had so far.
Well, this is going to come as no surprise to anyone listening, but Brainstorm is the best card in Legacy. So, if you want to give yourself the best chance to win, playing Brainstorm is probably a good call. Although we've played against a few decks that are non-Brainstorm decks that are still solid. But I feel like, if I'm playing Legacy, I probably want to play Ponder and Brainstorm. The cards are incredibly powerful, let you manipulate your deck a lot. Preordain's up there too. Some of the combo decks are really sweet. The Depths deck, Dark Depths, and Reanimator are incredibly powerful. Reanimator is still up there with maybe a deck I'm considering to play just because it's so fast. I don't have to worry anything about time with that deck, which is really nice. We might do a video or so of Reanimator or play it tonight with our buddy.
Yep, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about those because I was going to have stuff I wanted to speak that I haven't told you yet. The biggest perspective that Legacy gets, like the biggest reputation, I guess, quotation marks.
Yeah.
And it comes from a lot of non-Legacy players, is it's a very turn 1, turn 2 format.
Yeah, that's false.
That's so false.
Very false, yeah.
I thought the same thing too, don't get me wrong, because I based off of what I hear.
To be fair, we are playing Force of Will decks exclusively so far. When you're playing a Force of Will deck, you're able to prevent that from happening, which is why you play Force of Will decks in the first place, is to stop that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
But if you're playing D&T or Elves or whatever, you might be getting turn 1, but that's, what you sign up for when you don't play a Force of Will in your deck.
Yeah. You can play the fair decks, like Delver is a fair deck.
Right.
But you have to have answers for it. You got unfair decks that are also like they don't want to get turn 1. Reanimator, for example.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, we don't want to get turn 1, we'll just Chancellor you.
Yep.
We have ways to interact still.
As long as we're not on the draw. If we're on the draw, F6.
How does Chancellor read?
Anytime. So if you have double force, you can get them. If you have 2 forces, you need double force, double.
No, I'm talking about if you're playing Reanimator.
If you're
up against like Storm or something.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get turn 1, you have Chancellor in your deck to prevent yourself.
I misunderstood.
Gotcha. Nope. Yep. Understandable. We were kind of blending everything there.
Yes.
My perspectives is that Legacy is the grindiest, most thought process format that is in the game.
Certainly when you're playing all the blue 1-mana cards.
Again,
I'm not sure.
From my perspective on Legacy is blue decks and then everything else.
Yep, and I'm not sure. And to be fair, I know full well that like D&T is an incredibly complicated deck. And honestly, like, Storm's a complicated tech to do. You need to figure out, like, when to combo, how to play around the force effects. Like, a good Storm player versus a non-good Storm player is incredibly different. A good Reanimator player versus a not good Reanimator is entirely different. Like, I feel like...
Good Elves player versus a non-good
And obviously that's true in any format, in Magic. But in Legacy, it's definitely amplified. And I feel like with decks like Reanimator, I think one of the biggest things is just knowing how to mulligan. Because mulliganing with that deck is a huge deal. You want to just do something incredible on the first turn or second turn of the game. You do not want the game to drag on that long, ideally. So I feel like you really need to know what you're looking for and need to know how to mulligan. I agree. The format so far has been really, really fun. I felt like in many of our losses, and I've said it while we've been playing in video a lot, I notice things we mess up, and I'll point it out, especially with like order on Ponder and stuff. Like if you mess up what is third and second on the Ponder, that can lose you games many times, and it has lost us games, I think at least twice. Yep. With our list that we were playing that only had 2 volcanic islands, when we lost to Snoko, we shouldn't have lost either game if we would have sequenced. Well, game 2 we won anyway, but game 1 if we just keep a wasteland second or on top, and then the second true name nemesis below that, we would have been able to waste our opponent off their only non-basic, and then we could have dazed the 4-drop they played because they wouldn't have had a 5th mana.
Yep.
And you need to be able to see things like that when you're playing Legacy, and that's why it's so skill intensive and complicated. But it's a really sweet format. It's been a lot of fun to play so far. yeah, that's my overall take, is that it's been pretty enjoyable and has been fun.
Yep.
So.
And I do think there's one deck far above the rest, and I think that's the Delver decks.
Yep.
And I say Delver decks because there's very many ways you can build this deck. There's Sultai Delver, there's Grixis Delver, and then you got I think the top ones, which is Teamer Delver and is a Delver.
Yeah.
Teamer is got the edge because it's playing cards like Oko and all that, and the green cards like Sylvan Scrying on the sideboard, which is an amazing Magic card.
Library. Yep.
Sylvan Library, my apologies.
Yep. No, you're good.
Yeah, and they're just so good because and me personally, I gravitate towards a traditional Izzet build because I think I am better in the mirror matches. And that is where like Delver is just such an interesting deck to play because of all the different types you could build. Like, I'm gonna pull up a few of these lists so we can
we'll talk about them.
Actually talk about these. So I have all the lists I pulled up today.
None of them were Delver.
None of them were Delver.
So he'll kind of scroll and pull up Delver, and we'll just kind of keep talking while we pull that up. But obviously Delver has felt very good for us and is obviously a great deck. It has been for a very, very long time.
Yep.
Snoko is another deck that I think is also right up there with being an incredibly powerful deck. Another deck that's abusing Ponder Brainstorm, using really powerful cards. That matchup felt close. We'll need to play it more to
against
to learn
what now
more.
was that again?
Against us. Sorry, against Delver. Okay. Delver and Snoko felt close against each other.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I assume Snoko... although Snoko loses the ability to clock like this deck does, it's still playing a lot of really nice hate pieces that can make the combo decks just kind of not able to function while also being a force deck. And we'll talk about those hate pieces more when we go on, but I think Snoko's right up there with one of the best decks.
This challenge list right here from 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Yo, this list is nice, actually. I ain't gonna lie.
And maybe we've been playing against this because we've seen a lot of
main board is nice.
Yeah, no, Spell Pierce was really impressive in our games.
Red Elemental Blast, they're just playing it as a 1-of. They're like, nah, this card ain't good. We're just gonna play it as a 1.
What's the difference between Red Elemental Blast and Pyroblast? Are they the same card?
Yeah, they're just...
Okay, just different name?
Yeah, bro.
Do the same thing, different name?
Yeah.
So they're really still playing 3 Pyroblast, which is what we did in pretty much all our lists.
Dark Blue Red's playing 4.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing that because Snoko is like base blue.
Yeah.
No, this is good. Hooting Managers I haven't really been sold on, like, because my opinion on these Delve cards with Dreadhorde Arcanist is just weird to me.
Sure.
It's like a non-bow in my opinion. Like it just makes those cards I feel like awkward.
I'll tell you what I am sold on: the Clothis in the sideboard. We played against Clothis. That card was nuts.
That card was nuts.
Really
I'm
good.
not sold on Winter Orbs. I've never been a big fan of Winter Orb in Delver decks.
What is that card for? I don't even know what that's for.
I really don't know.
I assume it's obvious if we played a lot of Legacy, but we really haven't. So. We're not
combo
sure.
decks maybe
combo
because it probably is annoying for Storm.
Yeah, in big mana decks because there are some big mana decks, I suppose.
Yeah,
maybe depth decks get annoyed with this card. I really
just feel
don't know.
There's better options that I can play because I think it just hurts you too much in the long run too.
I haven't played the format enough to really know the answer to if it's right or wrong, or even if I like it or don't like it. I just don't know what specifically you want it against.
Yep.
But yeah, really, this deck is pretty much exactly the same as what we played with Teamer the first league we did. When
instead we weren't playing 2 Mandrills and we were playing 2
Peasies.
We're on a split of 2-2.
Yeah, and we were down an Arcanist and up
we're down
Spell Snare.
We're also down in Oko because we only played 2.
Huh. Are they playing less land? No, they're still playing 19.
I think we have more actual spells though.
Maybe. Yeah, it's very possible. We must have. But they're still on the 6 forces. But no, overall, I like this list. Maybe we should give this a try at some point in the near future. But yeah, no, this deck sweep. What does Rough and Tumble do? What does Rough do
Tumble? It's a split card. The Rough is 1 in a red, deals 2 damage to each creature without flying. Tumble is 5 in a red, deals 6 damage to each creature with flying.
Wow. Okay.
It's on Pyroblast.
I see.
With Sorcery Speed. Submerge has been an awesome card too, by the way.
Yeah.
For those that don't know,
is
Submerge. If your opponent controls a forest and you control an island, so for mirror matches in particular, or like elves, things like that, you get to put a creature on top of their owner's library.
Yep.
It's really good. Couple surgicals, things like that. Yeah, Teamer is just straightforward. I think Teamer is probably up there as like the best Delver build. I think I unbiasedly give them the edge over Izzet because I think Teamer handles the whole format.
Yeah. I also just think Goyf is so annoying to deal with in blue-red, man. Just so annoying.
Goyf is good.
And Mandrels, too.
Yeah.
They're both just really annoying. And if that deck's playing five of those cards combined, that's a lot of big creatures that Izzet Delver doesn't really deal with very well.
Yeah.
I will say one upside to Izzet Delver is I have felt that the Izzet build has felt more consistent, but that would be kind of obvious because we're playing so many preordains. Because in our list, we're just playing the full set of every cantrip. 4 preordained, 4 ponder, 4 brainstorm. We're able to find what we need.
We're playing Brazen Borrowers and stuff
yes.
in our builds too as a teamer.
Yep, 2 Brazen Borrower in our list,
which
has been very impressive.
I think not playing Borrower right now is a mistake because you depths, and I think depths is on an uptick actually.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. No, for sure.
No, but yeah, you have like the Izzet build, which is typical Izzet, similar to Teamer.
Yeah.
And then you got some of the other Delver lists that are a little more I won't say fringe, I don't feel like that's the right word, but like less played but are still very strong. Like, for example, we have some Grixis lists.
Yep.
And this is just pretty much like blue-red playing 3 young Power Mans, 3 Arcanists, 4 Delvers, and then a couple Anglers.
Yep.
Then it's got some black cards in the sideboard. It's just blue-red with a couple pushes in the main, some Thought Seizes.
Yeah.
And then you got like Surgicals, you got Bitter Blossom, Liliana's Triumph. Liliana's Triumph is a house.
Yeah. You want to talk about a good answer to Mirror Mage.
Yeah.
That's certainly...
Oh, this Topia. You know what this does, Steven?
Nope, no clue.
Cumulative upkeep, 1 life.
Okay.
And you know how cumulative upkeep
Every
works?
upkeep it adds, right?
Yep.
So the first one you pay 1, the second one you pay 2, so on.
Yep. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls any green or white permanent, he or she sacrifices a green or white permanent.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about making Maverick cry? Let me tell you.
Elves, D&T, yeah, an annoying card.
Painful Truce is hot.
It's a nice card, yeah.
Plague Engineer is another reason to play Grixis.
Yeah, you definitely get some good cards in black.
Yeah,
no
Grixis
doubt.
is
no doubt. Black's
really good.
a good
And they
call.
probably do really good against Teamer because they have some good answers for them Goyfs.
Yep.
Then you have like Soul Tile. I'm trying to find the Soul Tile list. Because that's like, I think, the third like most common one that I've seen. You have Soul Tile Delver. Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, and this one's just playing like Anglers, Goyfs, a little Brazen Borrow, gets Oko. They're playing one of Hinterrock, Drowns,
Yeah.
Abrupt Decays. You got 4 Thought Seizes. I actually think Soul Tide looks really good, actually, the more I look at it.
Sultai does look solid. My concern with and Sultai might actually be good against Teamer. We'd have to like play that to find out. But having a lot of removal seems nice. But I think there are a few things that I think the Sultai deck really loses, which would make me leery to play this version. Dreadhorde Arcanist is an incredible Magic card when you're playing with Ponder and Brainstorm and Preordain.
Yep.
So losing that card is really rough because against combo decks specifically, Arcanist just lets you keep finding the ways to not let them do what they need to do, and it just kind of snowballs and your opponent can never really get going, which is a big deal. And then you have Reach, which Sultai obviously does not get to play Lightning Bolts, so you do not just randomly have the burn spells to burn people down.
Right.
So you do definitely lose those 2 things, but you do obviously gain really nice removal in Fatal Push and really nice interaction with Thoughtseize, being able to know what's going on and such. But yeah, I've been really, really impressed with Dreadhorde Arcanist specifically.
Yeah, no,
So
I wasn't very high in that card. Then I finally got to start messing with it. I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
No more argument.
Yeah.
You will not hear me debate it ever again, because that card is just so good.
Yeah.
I guess this is worth mentioning. We also have Mono Blue Delver, but there is.
Is that a Ninja of the Deep Hours deck or nope? Okay.
No.
I was curious. Just playing
yeah.
that Delve thing. We've seen that in some of the lists.
Yeah.
But 4 True Name Nemesis is kind of cool.
But again, mono blue just doesn't seem like the way you want to go.
No way,
There's
man.
no way.
I don't want to play that at all. The third color, the second color for sure. We need something like you're playing Legacy. Take advantage of the mana you have.
And it's online, so it's easier to be able to play with these cards you'll never get to play with in paper.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no. The Delver lists are just the way to go. Like, I know, me personally, like, I think it's crazy. It might be crazy not to play Delver, but with that being said, there are some very good other viable decks that aren't Delver. Actually, ones that I've been thinking about more and more as we go. So of course Snowco is one, but we're gonna talk about Snowco in its own category because Snowco is probably the deck that I put right there with Delver.
Yep.
So the other decks, however, is a very cool deck that we've ran into that I know people have been very high on is the new Karn Echoes deck.
Yes, the deck's really cool.
It's an Urza deck, a bunch of artifacts, a bunch of stuff like that. Play some like Narset Parter Veils. Karn the Great Creator, so he could tutor out a bunch of one-ups.
Think mono blue Urza in Legacy, because anyone who's played Urza in Modern, you know how powerful that deck was. Well, in this format, it's even more powerful in Busted because of the interaction with Echo of Eons and LED.
Yep, let me talk about LED. So Lion's Eye Diamond is a 0 mana artifact. It says sack it, add 3 color of anything that you want. Of one solid, I believe it's one solid
it's
color.
One color.
Yep, with one color, and you discard your hand.
Yep.
It's a big downside, right? That's what they thought when making cards like this. Oh, this card won't be good. You have to discard your whole hand. Yeah, about that. They have a card that came out of Modern Horizons. It's a 4/2 blue mythic. Sorcery, each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library and draws 7 cards, time twist or whatever.
Yep.
However, it has flashback for 2 and a blue.
Yep.
Ironically, LED lets you get 3 mana.
Yeah.
So what you do with this is you make 3 blue. You go discard your hand, discard the echoes, flashback the echoes. Get that, have more LEDs in hand, start doing this stuff, eventually get Urza and a bunch of artifacts and just start going crazy.
So basically the dream with this deck would be, now this version only plays 3 LED, I assume that's not all that common. I would imagine this deck would play 4 if we looked at some other lists.
They play one on the sideboard.
Oh, so they can tutor it with Karn.
Yes.
Interesting. So maybe that's how
I think that makes a lot of freaking sense.
It does. So the dream then with this deck, if you're playing it like this, would be turn 1, I don't know, LED, 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 Mox Opal, land, play something else like an Emery or whatever, and then use all 3 of your LEDs and tap your Opal, have 10 mana floating, discard your last card, which is the Echo of Eons, and then Echo with 7 blue floating, and then kind of just keep spinning the wheel. Now, does Echo exile when you flash it back, it obviously exiles.
Yes, Echo does.
Yeah, so basically each player then wheels, you used all your cards and have 7 mana floating on turn 1. So you can now do all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
Unless you draw 7 lands.
Yeah, unless you draw super badly. You might even hit another Echo and more LED nonsense. And you just really have an incredible turn 1. And Urza gets involved, obviously Karn, all these cards. So really, really messed up when it goes off. Fortunately, the time we played against it, we were able to counter the Echo, and then they mulled to 4 in the next game, and we countered the only relevant thing, and they lost.
And they do play 4 Force Wills in the sideboard.
Which makes sense. That's how they combat the Force of Will decks, because they do seem cold to that, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But, if they fight back, it makes a lot of sense. But this is a really cool deck. I'm sure we'll see it go off eventually, and it'll be really stupid.
And I think the deck is actually viable. Like, it has,
of course.
The card's really,
I definitely
deck seems really good.
Yeah.
Another deck we mentioned is like the Dark Depth style decks. Now, there's different ways to build this. I'm just gonna have us talk about this.
Depth is a really sweet art.
This is just the Vampire Hexmage, Elvis Reclaimer style deck.
A lot of people call this Turbo Depth because it rushes out Merit Liege as quickly as it possibly can. That's kind of the point of the deck.
Yep.
Their goal is to kill you with Merit Liege by like turn 3 or 4, which they can do pretty often.
Oh yeah. So they also have a thing called Elvis Spirit Guide because Spirit Guides are in Magic for some reason.
Yep.
But no, deck is just good, does its thing. I would highly recommend if you want a deck a good fast combo deck to play Dark Depths.
Yep.
Another combo deck that I'm a big fan of right now is Hogak.
Hogak's a really good deck, definitely.
Hogak is doing what Modern did with a few additional cards, essentially. Yeah. Literally, it's the whole Modern list right now.
Yeah, no, that's the joke.
The only thing it gets is like Cabal Therapy and Careful Study.
But Careful Study was Faithless Looting in Modern, so
yes.
it's like... It is.
We got Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, it's the exact same deck, which is the comedy of it all, because you're literally playing a Modern deck from,
5-6 out of the whole 75, the only legacy cards is the 4 Cabal Therapies.
Yeah. Why would you need anything else? The Modern deck.
But
was
realistically, and the lands, of course. But
yeah.
But realistically, you play with any lands you want if you really can't afford them in paper.
Yeah.
Play with fetches till you can get them.
Yep.
Like, you'll probably gather a bunch of EV off of this deck to be able to get your fetches eventually.
Yeah,
but no, this deck is really good. It's very strong. It fights through hate so well because it's playing 4 Force of Vigors, 2 Assassin's Trophy, 2 Abrupt Decays, Thought Seizes. They're not. If they don't want you to hate them out, they will not let you hate them out.
Yeah, no, the deck's
and
good.
I'm actually leaning towards this deck a little bit.
We should definitely play it. I have a buddy who's played this with me.
Because it's very good, very strong.
Yep.
And then in conjunction with this, the other deck I was looking at was Traditional Dredge.
Sure.
I think everybody's starting to turn their focus away. People still have sideboard cards. I'm not saying the sideboard card, but their focus is all on the Oko Delver style decks and Snowco decks, and maybe a little bit of Dark Depths, where they're ignoring how powerful graveyards are.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows how powerful graveyards are,
definitely.
I love me some Dredge.
Yep.
And that's why I'm leaning towards this. It playing an Ox.
Okay.
And Golgari Grave Troll, which
yeah.
needs to be unbanned in Modern, by the way.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Next.
Incarid's really good. Do you know what Incarid does?
I do know what that one does, yeah.
For those at home that don't know, it's a 3 and a black, haste, 3/1. At the beginning of that, it has to sack itself. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Incarid's in your graveyard, you may exile a black creature card other than Incarid from your graveyard. If you do, return Incarid to the battlefield.
Yep.
So, pretty good. Then you have Putrid Imp. It's a good sack outlet. Well, not sack outlet, but discard outlet. Yeah. Threshold, it gets +1/+1, can't block, so it's a 1/1 for 1 right now. But you can discard guard and give it flying if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
This is playing LEDs. It's playing a 1 of Lotus Petal.
Yeah, looks very broken.
4 Bridge from Below.
Very, very broken.
It's playing 7 looting effects with 4 looting and 3 Careful Study, 4 Cabal Therapy, 3 Breakthrough. Breakthrough is such a funny card.
Yeah, what does this one do again?
So you draw 4 cards, and you choose. It's an X and a blue. Let's start there, sorcery. You draw 4 cards. Then you choose X cards in your hand to keep, and then discard the rest. I can tell you this. I don't know if you would know this or not.
Do it for 0.
Oh, this is a 1 blue, discard your hand.
Yeah.
Draw 4, discard your hand.
Yeah, no, I've seen that function before. I'm aware of how it works.
Yeah.
For sure. It's sweet. Yeah. Very powerful.
Got some Bridge from Belows.
Yep.
Like I mentioned.
Yep.
And then the lands, the biggest one, the land that we need to talk about is the Cepheids Coliseum.
Oh, yeah, Cephalids Coliseum.
You tap it, add a blue to your mana pool, it deals 1 damage to you. Threshold, for those who don't know, they don't use the term anymore. It's essentially what Search for Canton had in Standard, where if you have 7 or more, it does something. You sack this for a blue and tap it. Target player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards from their hand, and you can only do this if you have Threshold, so you have to have 7 cards in your graveyard. Just so you know, not that hard to do.
No, not at all.
And then the sideboard is pretty simple. It has a Lotus Petal, a Chain of Vapor.
Yeah.
We got some Nature's Claim, a Shenanigans, 1 Oko, some Whip Snares, a Dread Return. Dread Return is a good card.
Mm-hmm.
Leyline Sanctity, some Voids, and then an Ashen Rider. Do you know what the Ashen Rider's for?
Show and tell, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, you gotta have an answer. And we have London Mulligan, so it's really good. You want to respect those kind of decks.
Yep, definitely.
Death and Taxes is the other deck I think is one that you should look at. This or Humans, but I think D&T is probably the better of the two. It's just the
probably better deck, but there's a lot of clicking and a lot of
oldie but goodie.
Yep.
Oldie but goodie. D&T just does D&T where they are pretty much mono white control.
Oh, yeah, this deck's awesome.
Yeah,
D&T is super powerful.
Yeah, they do what they want. They're a good Stoneforge deck. They do everything of the matter. it's the oldie but goodie of Legacy. They're like the police.
Yep.
That's why I consider a mono white Death and Taxes, because there's also been people trying like red white taxes, because you have
Magus the Moon.
No, the Daredevil dude with
oh brother
with Chalice
Dire
is pretty,
Fleet.
and not Chalice but with Aetherval is funny.
That's sweet.
Yeah, you violate in and be like hello. But the one thing that this list isn't playing, usually they would be playing the little flash and containment priests.
Yep.
But this list doesn't look like playing it, and there might be reasons for that. I don't know.
Any on the sideboard?
Nope, didn't see any.
Not at all.
Again, people aren't respecting graveyards and
Yeah.
stuff right now, and honestly, containment priests don't do anything against delvers and stuff.
Yeah.
So again, back to my previous statement, more reason why you might be looking towards those graveyard decks.
Yeah, what? They have 2 surgical, 2 rest in peace.
Yep.
So they have that.
They got
and Fairy Macabre.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't have answers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but like the answers that would be really annoying to play against, like Rest in Peace isn't as bad because you know that it's coming in.
Yeah, you know it's coming. But that's really kind of the same with Containment Priest, because
Containment Priest is
flashy, and
Containment Priest. Yeah, Containment Priest is a little harder to deal with.
Yeah.
Because you can wait. Rest in Peace, you have to just land it.
Yeah.
And hope. Surgical's annoying, but usually if you're a good Dredge player, you can get around
that one
Surgicals.
usually,
Yeah. And like I said, you're also a Thoughtseize deck in both of these.
Yeah.
Or
Cabal.
Cabal Therapy decks.
Yeah.
So with Cabal Therapy is such a strong card. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that
Oh,
card's
yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Oh, just know that they can respond when you sack a creature, whatever it is for Cabal Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, because you sack a creature, they can respond and then surgical that guy. So be careful, or Macabre, whatever.
Yep.
But no, those are the decks I think that people should look at if they're not going to look towards Delver. The other deck that you should look at though is Snowcool, of course.
Yeah.
This deck is just pretty much 4-color usually because they splash white and black in the deck list.
Classic Astrolabe deck. It's a 2-color deck. This is blue-white. This is a blue-white. This is just basically a different take on Miracles, honestly, in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But they're just able to play green for free because of Arkham's Astrolabe. So that's basically what this deck is. It's splashing green for Oko, potentially the best planeswalker of all time. Euro, and Icefang Kodal, which is another just incredible card. Super good. Trades with Delver and draws a card. Flashing in a Baleful Strix is really good. And then, this deck's doing a little bit of black, too. I don't think they all do that, but this one's playing some Abrupt.
A lot of them are 4-color, man.
Okay,
a lot of them are 4-color.
Some that I were looking at were not when we played it.
Because you got Dread of Winter and things like that. It's just such good cards.
Well, the ones that I were looking at were playing Terminus.
I gotcha.
So they were just blue-white.
I think Dread of Winter is a really good card right now.
It's fine. I will say the person who moted us, man, that was brutal. That was a lot better than Dead of Winter would have been. Oh my god. We lost immediately to that card for
no question. No.
And they were playing Shark Typhoon too. That was definitely just a 3-color deck, the one we played against. I don't know enough about the deck to say what is best, but I would assume sticking to 3 colors is probably what you want to do. You have plenty of good options. So
but like I said, majority of the decks, like good percentage base, are always been 4-color. Because you're an Astrolabe deck, it's essentially free.
Yeah.
You're an Astrolabe with a bunch of fetch lands. If you can definitely make sure that you have all your colors.
Oh, you
easily.
Can. Yeah, you can.
There's literally no downside to doing it.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
It's just...
The downside is just, are the cards better than what the alternatives would be? Which they might not be. I have no idea. I haven't played the list enough to know.
Right.
But the deck is very, very good, regardless.
I agree. The deck is just... It's a good way. And with it being Legacy, we do need to talk about Oko in general, and that is the big talk. It's only formats he's legal in. What is the best way to attack Oko?
So, it has felt, and this is kind of obvious, but with Oko just being a walker, the best way to attack it against a lot of these decks is just have pressure in play. So, for example, with the Delver decks, if you have a flipped Delver and any other threat. And Oko landing isn't that big of a deal because you're very nearly able to pressure it off on the first turn. It can't just elk something or make a food and be safe from a bolt. So that's really important. Obviously, Daze is very good against Oko because it's a 3-mana spell. Forcing it's not a great answer because you're 2-for-1ing yourself against decks that are priding themselves on card advantage. So, that's not the greatest. And then combo killing, especially like Dark Depths does, just at instant speed, because if you're able to just make a 20/20 on your opponent's end step, Oko doesn't matter very much. Which are kind of the seem to be or you just go way under it like Reanimator and this new blue deck do, the Echo of Beyond's deck. But that seems to be the best way to attack Oko, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then there's other ways if you want to really beat Oko. Just make sure that it doesn't have good things to like avoid it from being able to trade with you.
Yeah,
that's a key.
Avoid it from being able to take over the game. You need to have board presence to make sure that it cannot come down easily and start dominating the game. If that happens, you're going to lose.
Our best route that we found is using Young Pyromancer. Just generating, going a wide strategy against it. Another card they can't deal with is True Name because we're playing ESA. I'm not talking too much about our list because we're trying to tune it a little bit for Sunday.
We'll figure it
out. So we're just trying to keep it a little bit.
Just ideas.
Yeah, just ideas right now. But yeah, right now, that's the best way. Just like keeping Oko in check, make Oko a bad card.
Yeah.
Doing everything in your game plan. Think of what potentially is going to happen in the next few turns. Like, what do you need to do to be able to figure this out? Close this gap. Because you understand, Legacy's going to be grindy. You just need to become a grinder as well. But as of right now, Steven, what would you play if you had for this tournament Sunday? If you had to register your deck list right now,
it would be Delver because we've been playing Delver.
Which one?
I might actually go with Teamer because I've been really impressed with Goyf in the mirrors.
Okay. Me personally, I think I would go and I would stick with Delver because I think True Name is a better Goyf.
True Name is very good.
I think True Name's a better Goyf, and I would just address the sideboard for a few of the other non-Delver decks. Yep. If we had to pick a non-Delver deck to play, what would you play?
Reanimator.
Reanimator? No hesitation?
I believe it would be Reanimator for a few reasons. The first reason is clock. I feel like there is no chance I would ever time out with playing that deck because it wins so quickly. Second reason is I think that deck is actually okay against the Delver decks, especially if it wins die rolls, because at that point it's kind of just mulligan to Chancellor, combo, and kill is the hope. I'm obviously not speaking from that much experience, but that's just, I believe, the theory behind it. I have played team events where a buddy of mine, Brandon Dalloway, lost a game to Reanimator where they mulliganed to 6, and he had double force surgical in his hand, and he still died on turn 1 because he was on the draw, got Chancellored, and they had a perfect hand or whatever and got him. I forget exactly what the sequence was. He would have to be here to tell us that. I'll try and ask him later about it so I can maybe share it at some other time. But regardless, the deck is incredibly powerful, and I think it would be potentially a reasonable call. Maybe that mono blue deck would be sweet too. Maybe we should do a video or something with that deck too in the future. It seems like a cool deck to try, but I feel like that deck is one you would definitely want to have some reps in. It seems kind of complicated maybe when you're comboing, but I'm not sure. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on it. Yeah, what do you think?
See, I think I'm just if I was gonna go and play, like I said, I would just play traditional blue-red Delver. If I didn't have to play a Delver list, I would be leaning between probably either Hogak or Dredge.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
This is obviously me saying that Snowco, but Karn-Echoes looks like the most fun for me.
Those are really cool.
I think I might actually just register that if I was going to, just because I think it would be a blast, and I think it's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That deck looks really cool and is probably one we should test at least a league with before the event this weekend. We've got all of tomorrow. Saturday we won't get to play much because we've got other plans, but we might play a little bit at night before the event on Sunday.
In your opinion, is there any decks you think that people should avoid registering?
Yeah, it's actually interesting you bring that up. I again am not speaking from a ton of experience, but I would assume D&T is probably in a pretty bad spot right now because of the prevalence of Oko. It's really hard for me to justify sleeving up an Aether Vial deck when most of the format plays a 3-drop walker that can just shut my Vial shenanigans right off and turn them into an Elk. Now, that, depending on how much pressure you're able to get on the board with D&T, you might be able to make that not as good, but I still feel like it's probably an uphill battle, probably not one you want to be fighting. And D&T traditionally is not great against it can be good against combo decks post-board, but you need to win die rolls usually, which is a little awkward. I don't know. I don't think I would sleeve that up, but I'm not speaking from a ton of experience. So I could be wrong there.
Yep.
I feel like if you're a great D&T pilot, maybe just play it because you're a great D&T pilot. And then, this is probably an obvious one, but don't play Burn right now. Don't play Burn.
That's obvious.
It's probably not a great call.
I honestly think Storm's a trap.
Storm.
I don't think you want to play Storm.
Everyone's playing 6 forces in their main, which is pretty awkward.
They're playing 6 forces. Everybody's playing Veil post board. They're playing more interaction with like spell pierces and stuff. Yeah. And in addition, I know we said that this is another viable deck, but I also think it's a trap to play Depths. I think a lot of decks are playing Brazen Borrowers and stuff like that, and that seems. And I think Depths is not actually a deck that people are going to be expecting heavily this weekend because people like playing lands and stuff like that. Yeah. I think
it's another fast deck too. It's not one you're in a timeout with very often, so someone like me would definitely consider playing.
I think it might be a trap to play it.
It could be.
I think Storm 100%, and I am leaning towards thinking that Depths is a trap.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know.
It's possible. But nonetheless, it's going to be fun to play some Legacy this week. I know these are one of our shorter episodes because we don't have a guest this week.
No guest, and we both are still kind of delving in, no pun intended, delving into Legacy. So we are, a lot of our thoughts are kind of more opinion and theory based than factual and actually tested based. So take what we're saying with a grain of salt, obviously. But overall I think we're both pretty solid Magic players. So we have somewhat of a sense of what's going on and what is good and not good. But certainly our thoughts are not going to be perfect or whatever. Our opinions are definitely not going to all be factual. So, but no, I'm really excited to play the event as well. It'll be fun to just kind of do another competitive event. And I'm excited to do some of those, some more Legacy videos, get some more testing in, some leagues, and to do some more of these Jumstart events because they've been really fun.
Yep, no, for sure. And then next week we're going to actually be doing an episode all on Dredge.
Yep, which is no surprise because as I'm sure our audience has figured out on at least one of these episodes that you're a big fan of that archetype.
Oh yeah, I do love me some
and
Dredge.
We're going to bring on another really big fan of that archetype.
I don't know if I would call him a big fan or
the Dredge guy might be the better
the man.
But I would say he's probably also a fan of Dredge. I think he enjoys Dredge and what it's doing.
And it's going to be awesome because we get to talk about some non-Dredge with him because he actually just recently made top 8 of
the Pro
P.
Tour.
Yep, for when their little arena ones they did. And that, for those who don't know, his name is Sodek.
Yep.
He's out of Poland, so we're going to be doing this on a very weird time schedule for the recording, like a little bit weirder than we're used to.
Yeah, different. But honestly, I could see it like right now we're doing it at, we did it at 5, and I don't know what sleep schedule he's on, but if he's on one like us, he might be willing to do one his time at midnight and our time at 6 o'clock, which would be fine. We'll be able to line it up just fine. It's only a 6-hour difference. It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's but no, it's gonna definitely be a blast. Like,
definitely.
It's gonna be interesting to see. his perspective, our perspectives, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always looking forward to, like I said, I've been part of his Patreon for a long time. It's how I was able to catapult into where I was able to play the deck, because I played the deck very poorly beginning, started to reach out and getting information from him, subscribe, use some of his guides at the beginning to start to learn.
He's going to have an incredible amount of information.
I'm looking forward to picking his brain,
going to be really cool.
Getting some insights on stuff, talking about like quarantine and Magic, how an actual top like streamer and stuff has been handling doing it.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to get a perspective on that side of the thing.
I would imagine for someone who is streaming, it might have actually been a positive. I would assume more people might be watching.
That's true. And
would be my guess. That's my guess. I could be totally off. But that would be my assumption.
Yeah. Because I'm going to talk to him. We're going to talk about Legacy. We're going to talk about Modern. And Legacy, we'll talk about regular Dredge and Hogak. We're going to talk to him about Modern Dredge.
Yep.
Maybe like if he thinks Vengevine will ever make a comeback in Modern. We'll talk about like the standard like Dredge decks they call it, or Pioneer, their Dredgeless Dredge, quotation marks of course.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that episode, obviously, and it's gonna be a great guest to have on for us. It's an honor that he actually accepted to
really cool.
to take some time out to join us
really cool.
and have a nice conversation with
definitely.
us. So we'll definitely be looking forward to them. But yeah, I would definitely recommend people to sign up for that Patreon for Energy, do this event, play some Legacy. Let's all have a good time. Like I know I mentioned that the decks you shouldn't play. Our teammate Andrew is who actually does a really good job at handling our processing of our podcast onto like Spotify and everything. He's playing ninjas.
And Andrew plays what he wants. Let's be real.
Andrew plays like every one of these energy events.
I get it. I don't think his deck in the standard energy event was good at all, but he's still top 8'd. In the middle of the Fires format, he played mono white pile of nonsense. And usually I'm on board with mono white piles. That deck did not look good, but he top 8'd anyway, so good for him. But no, he plays what he wants. He's playing ninjas in Legacy, which I believe is fine.
Nope,
it's still another brainstorm.
It goes into the categories decks you should avoid.
I don't know.
True,
I have no idea. I'm not.
But no, I respect that he plays, and Andrew's a good player.
He is.
I watched him play
He's
ninjas,
a good player.
And he will body some people. And have you ever seen him with some robots in Modern?
Of course I have.
Buddy.
It's usually all he plays. He played all that glitters robots at the indie event that you were just talking about in Modern. And I think he played some sort of weird deck in the other format too.
He actually almost updated the same Energy Modern event that I did.
That makes sense.
He had some very close matches that didn't go his way, unfortunately. But that's how life goes. But no, he's gonna be jamming some ninjas.
Andrew's a very good player, but he's definitely a player that does not play the best deck nearly as often as he should.
Yep.
And he used to be that way at like FNMs and stuff too, because I remember he was always playing Teamer Moon at FNMs.
Oh, he still does a Teamer pile.
I know. I'm sure he does.
He loves him some Teamer piles.
Yeah, no, always, man. That was the deck he played at FNM all the time. All the time. Never put it down.
We're going to be bringing him on in the next few weeks.
Which
I don't know the day. And it's going to be pretty much about knowing your archetype and playing your archetype.
Good. Because he does that a lot. So
that's cool. Going to be a really fun one, because as you know, I've gone in and I've transitioned from Merfolk player to Burn player to Dredge player, and then I've spent time learning those archetypes and doing well with all three.
Yeah.
Dredge obviously did the best for me, but Burn was a close second because I made a big turnaround with it. But so it'd be cool to talk to him about the archetypes. But no, and then our teammate Dewey is going to be who we've had on the special guest and special co-host.
Yep.
He's going to be coming on to not coming on, but he's going to be playing the Snoko deck.
Makes sense.
Yep, he sent me his list.
Seems like a Dewey deck.
It looked like it was good. It looks pretty good. He played the deck in the Energy event, the Legacy one that I for some reason before we close it up. Don't play Death Shadow. Don't do it to yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't seem particularly good.
I played Death Shadow and got crushed.
Yeah.
You can't beat Swords, and Swords is a top plate card.
Yeah.
But no, I want to be respectful of everyone that's listening to us time. But yeah, just tune in next week. We got Soda coming on.
Should be a really
definitely
cool episode.
Check in. Joe Lissette and them is going to be doing coverage for the Legacy event on NRGs.
Yeah, that's someone who knows a lot about Legacy.
Oh yeah,
sure. They have a lot of guys
Mr.
who
Miracles.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, NRG's going to be a great time. We're looking forward to it. We'll be making some videos, so stay tuned. And like I said, follow us on social media. There'll be some information in the YouTube page for that as well. But until next time, my name's Larry.
I'm Steven.
And then we will catch you later.